Today we'll talk about stay stitching, how to use it, where and when to use it, and what exactly is it. A stay stitch is a simple straight stitch that is applied to vulnerable fabric edges like curved and corner cut edges to prevent them from stretching out of shape when handled and stitched in the construction process. These stitches are applied within the seam allowance as soon as the paper pattern is separated, but before any of the garment alignment and sewing process actually starts. You won't see it in the finished garment, but it is sort of like an insurance plan for your cut fabric pieces. Once the edges stretch, unfortunately, it is close to impossible to bring them back to their original shape. Stay stitching will save you from these little disasters. In today's guide, I'll show you how simple it is to apply a stay stitch to a few different uniquely shaped edges. I'll also show you how to stay stitch knit fabrics and how to adjust these edges to match the paper pattern perfectly. Stay stitching is a row of regular machine stitching applied along curved, angled, and unstable edges to prevent them from stretching and losing their shape during the handling and stitching process. It is applied immediately after separating the pattern from the fabric piece. The most common areas that require a stay stitch are the neckline, armhole, waistline curves, and any other uniquely curved seam edges, especially those that are inward shaped. If working with loosely woven unstable fabric, stay stitching should be applied along all seam edges, including the straight ones. Stay stitching is applied within the seam allowance at about 1/8 from the actual seam line. It should not be visible on the finished garment. It is used purely to stabilize and maintain the fabric cut's original shape and ensure a smooth construction process. Stay stitching is used on both woven and stretch knit fabrics. In the case of knits, the stabilizing stitch is applied along all seam edges to prevent stretching across the entire fabric cut. The stay stitched fabric piece should then be checked against its corresponding paper pattern, and any differences should be adjusted. If the stay stitch compressed the fabric edges into a shorter length, clip through a few stitches using your seam ripper and loosen up the stitched fabric edges gently until they match those on the paper pattern. If the stay stitched edge has stretched in the application process, pull the stitches by the loose threads on each end until the edges match the corresponding ones on the paper pattern.